From section 7.3, geometric sequences and series. This is problem 51. So they're asking us to find the sum of this geometric series. Remember, series is when you add them up, a sequence is just the pattern. So they wrote it in summation notation. So they're saying starting at 1, going up to 6. So you're going to add up the first 6 terms. So you could plug in 1, figure out what the first term is, plug in 2, figure out the second term, plug in 3, 4, 5, 6, and just add them all together. Or you can use the formula. So if we write out the terms of the sequence, so if I plug in 1, 1 minus 1 would be the 0 power. Anything with 0 power is 1 times 4 is 4. If you plug in 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, so it would be 1/4 to the first, which would be 1/4. So a fourth of 4 is 1. If you plug in 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, so you'd have to square 1/4, and you get 1/16. So 4 times 1/16 would be 4/16 or 1/4. If you plug in 4, this would become 3, so 1/4 to the third would be 1/64, because 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 again is 64. So 4 times 1/64 would be 4/64, which would reduce to 1/16. If you plug in 5, this would become 4, so 1/4 to the fourth would be 1/256. Then if you multiply by the 4, it'll come down to 1/64. And if you plug in 6, this would be to the 5th power. And so you figure that out and multiply by 4, it's going to reduce to the 1/256. So you could write those all out and just add those together. And you should get 1,365 over 256 if you get a common denominator. And all of that comes out to about 5.33. And you could use a calculator to help with that. And then if we use the formula, the summation formula, so you're finding the sum of the first 6 terms. Remember, n is the number of terms. So sum of the first 6 terms, you need your first term. So when you plug in 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 1/4 to the 0 power. Well, anything to the 0 power is 1, times 4 is 4. That was the first term of this pattern, and that's what a sub 1 means. Times 1 minus r, which is your common ratio, the thing you keep multiplying by, which in this case is 1/4, to the nth power, so the number of things you're adding up, which in this case is 6, divided by 1 minus your common ratio. Okay, well, I'm going to at least simplify that bottom. I'm not sure what 1/4 of the 6 is off the top of my head, but I know that 1 minus 1/4 is 3/4. And then I know that we never divide with fractions. Instead, we multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to change it to be times 4/3 rather than divide by 3/4. So rather than divide by a fraction, you change it to multiplication and multiply by the reciprocal, flip it upside down. So this 4 out front is like 4/1. So 4 times 4 gives you 16. 1 times 3 gives you 3. So it's going to be 16/3 times 1 minus 1/4 to the 6th. So you can type that into a calculator. Keys are, make sure the 1/4 is in its own set of parentheses and then raise to the 6th power. So that erases both the 1 and the 4 to the 6th power. And then make sure all of this is in parentheses, so that 1 minus that. And then it's being multiplied by the 16/3. And I would just type all of that into whatever calculator you're using. And again, when you do that, you should get 1,365 divided by 256, which as a decimal is approximately 5.33.